All right, everybody, ding, ding, ding. We are back in the building with my favorite cocky kitty. She is representing the Coco Experience, and this is her second interview here on Ringside's Corner Confessions. And y'all know what it is. This is Troy Vaughn, also known as Trey Amazing, favorite part-time stripper, part-time megachurch pastor, but full-time dating commentator. And I had to bring this beautiful epic sister back because she was a blast in a glass the last time. She had too much testimony to capture in one video, so we had to bring her back for a sequel, okay? So, how have you been since the last time we spoke?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. So, your video on my channel is gaining some traction, gaining some views. People are loving you. People are asking about you. And I had to bring you back because there's still so much that I want to know from you.
Okay.
So the video, I labeled it, friendly neighborhood dominatrix. And you broke it down as far as, every superhero has an origin story. You gave your origin story and it was a great one. And, you talked about your life here in Atlanta as a dominatrix. And so I didn't think about this until after the last interview. I really wanted to delve into the life as a dominatrix or sex worker and what's it like to date. Does dating or being a sex worker, does it add an additional layer to dating? Does it help, hurt, or no difference? But before we go into that, for the people that that don't know, when they hear the term sex worker, quickly define what exactly does sex worker? Is it strictly someone who just has sex for money, or is it a particular industry? Or break down your description of a sex worker.
My description? So really and truly, I'm considered a sex worker, but in all honesty, nobody penetrates me in any sort of way.
I heard that.
No. Not at all. But the simple fact that in my services, people are deriving a therapy from a erotic and intimate or sexual experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, I've had guys that just them wearing fishnet stockings and me rubbing on them get off on that. So, it's not the full penetration, but, there's a bit of sexualness to that. So that's really, I hope I broke that down. That's really my kind of definition as a sex worker. I mean, there's just so many different genres within itself of sex work, that people do, but that's what I do.
Okay. So, do you think there is or do you, this is a dumb question. Of course, people talk about the stigma of being a sex worker. And of course, when you talk about, the fact of the matter is, man or woman, a sex worker is still a person. Okay. And they still, many do in fact want love and companionship, dating and so on and so forth. Do you feel there is, when it comes to, being a sex worker, that's, sex work is work. That's, that's how you pay the bills.
And we pay taxes.
Pay taxes.
A lot of us pay taxes.
Right. And a lot of people don't realize that. Do you think, a lot of professions, it can be, there's so many different professions out there that, this is what pays the bills, but it carries a certain stigma. Would you say that you yourself have experienced the stigma of being a sex worker and dating?
Well, what do you mean? Because, I've experienced the stigma, from people that find out what I do,
mm-hmm.
Or people that don't know what I do, but talk about other people that kind of in the same. And then, with dating, I've had relationships where I've met, and I'm into guys.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think, because I guess it's now, for some, I don't care who gets offended, but for some, being bisexual, is just the all new fad. It's like, if you like girls and boys, cool.
Hey,
but do your thing. But I'm into men. And I met dudes in my real life And my professional life, I've kind of dated, and it's been fun. I enjoy dating. I've had fun with it. As y'all, if y'all saw the video from before, I've been doing this since I was 17, so I'm in the game over 20 years. Yes.
All right.
But yeah, so is there a stereotype of a it's not like the church lady or my mom is trying to hook me up with dudes, or people. So I don't really think that side, but I guess more so like if you're thinking along the lines of like the dudes that I've dated, because like I said, I've dated dudes that I've met through the industry, and I've dated dudes that, I did meet in the industry, and then I had to be like, okay, so you know how I got that car?
Oh, by the way.
There's a reason why I get to hang out with you all day sometimes. So, I mean, there's really, like, what do you mean by, like, stereotype stigma with it?
Like, so, for the men that you met in the industry, or even men that you met outside once they learn what you do, do they, come to you and stereotype you? Like I said, I mean, do they feel like, well, if you're a dominatrix, if this is what you do, does that make you a quote-unquote hoe? Does that mean you sleep with your clients? Does that mean, there's so many stereotypes, and people have these generalizations they make when they think about a dominatrix. They mean like, oh, do you have is there a trunk somewhere with a gimp in it, or maybe not. I mean, but people will have, just like no matter what you do or what industry you're in, people may generalize you, and sometimes in a negative way. And so if want to know, like, if you ever met a man that once he found out you were a dominatrix, or you met him while he was utilizing your services, did that have an effect on the quality of dating or how he viewed you?
To tell you the truth, of all my years of dating, the only time that I really had that is, I don't know if I told you this, but with my husband.
Okay.
And so it was kind of one of those things where it's like, you really didn't ask questions. We just decided, hey, we just go jump in and just get married. And then it's like, so by the way, let me tell you what I do. Lot of questions. He was like, who the fuck did I marry? Like, what do you do? But, like, I'll say the best way, like, when I broke it down to him, I had him watch on Netflix. Can I say that?
Yeah.
On Netflix, they have this show called Bonding.
Ooh.
And I don't know, if you get the chance, you should watch. I love it. I thought that it was the best example. It was actually, the writer wrote it from his perspective of his best friend and his experience, of course embellished some, but his experience of it. But I think that was honestly the best example of, like, kind of breaking down to him, like, what I do. And he was like, okay, I get it. But then I feel like his money hustle wasn't on like mine. So, like, there was definitely a threat with the income that I had coming in. So that caused,
of course,
working on them divorce papers.
Caused the acrimony.
Exactly. So, but anybody else, like, oh my God, I'll kind of go back a little bit. Let's
take it way back.
Okay, well, not too far. Well, if we want to go way back, was like my favorite engagement. We had met at the strip club, and he actually, and this is really showing my age using this word, but he actually, like, courted me working at the strip club. It was cool as hell. Like,
nothing wrong with being courted.
Right, and this was back in the day. I know you remember this because this was back in the day, like, before cell phones were really popular. So, like, when I was working at the strip club, like, once he finally got that little in, what he would do is he would call up to the strip club to see if I was working.
And then who had done that?
Right. And then he would call at the end, or then he would come up at the end of the shift because he didn't want to see me, and he had told me he didn't want to see me dance for anybody else. So he would come, get my attention, money. He definitely, because he knew that I was there for the work. He respected my hustle, so he threw into my hustle. So I couldn't help but to be like, all right, I'll sit next to you. But, like, and it was cool. And he actually did that for, God, about 8 months, 6 to 8 months.
That's
like,
right.
And then I finally, because I worked during the day, like, I was like, all right, I'll give you my name.
The real name?
Right, like he got the real name and he got the real number. And I let him take me to lunch. He came up to my, I was working an office job and he came up to lunch, or to my office job, and he took me to lunch. And then the rest of that, and I mean, that actually ended because of differences. He liked drugs way more than I like drugs.
Mm.
So that ended. But all in all, like, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great. Another moving forward, kind of more recently, definitely way more recently. But the last guy, the way that we had met, this was just like, I believe background checks should be done on everybody.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree.
Oh my God.
I agree 1,000%.
So I met this dude on Match.com. I first moved to Colorado. I met this dude on Match.com. And
shout out to Match.
Right. So it was cool. I got a lot of hits, and plus two, I was the fresh dark meat on the scene in Colorado. So I had all these dudes kind of hit me up. Oh, hey. And then I remember specifically because it was the time of the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight.
Okay.
Remember that fight? Like, I boxed, so I was really into it. So, like, all these dudes were like, hey, meet me at this bar. Let's go over here, watch the fight. And there just so happened to be this one dude, like the dude in the wheelchair. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about dude in the wheelchair.
Dude in the wheelchair.
And he was like, well, this is what I'm cooking. And he showed me a picture like this, just, I don't know what it's called when, like, all the steaks are just, like, not even cut. He was like, I'm putting this and roasted it. Like, this is what we're going to have at the party tonight. Do you want to come? Yes. You got me with food. Yes. Food, alcohol, and weed. You got me.
Ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yes. So I met this dude. And when I got to him, he was like, well, we're actually going to go and watch it over at my brother's house. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, all right. Cool. I'm down for the ride. It seems pretty safe, you know. The friends know where I'm at, you know, the important people know where I'm going, where I'm at. Cool. So we ended up going over to his brother's house, bunch of other people over there, and then dude in the wheelchair, just like, in the midst of everything, I didn't think anything, like, was wrong. He comes up to me, wheels up to me, and he's like, you good? I was like, yeah, what's up? He was like, I just wanted to make sure you good. I was like, yeah, I'm good.
You've been a gentleman.
He's like, cool. So, like, I turned around because by that time, like, one of my little coworkers, she had ended up Ubering out and hanging at the little party, too, watching the fight. By the time I turned around, he was gone. Mm-hmm. Like, he left me at his brother's house. Just left me at his brother's house. Craziest shit ever, right? So, later I find out, because I dated this dude for about, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years. We kind of, you know, dated. Mm-hmm. I found out that his brother didn't know, but, like, from marketing and stuff like that, the dude, when I got in, he had recognized me, even though, like, I didn't have on, like, wigs or anything, and I was just, like, in my natural fade, like, just straight chilling. But he was like, he realized, he, like, saw who I was, because he's one of those dudes. Y'all know old school John. I don't know what they call him nowadays. But he had, you know, he looks at the different advertisements, stuff like that, so he knew who I was.
Oh, okay.
Right. But he said that it fully didn't click the night that we met, but he was one of those dudes that was just like, okay, well, she's here, she's kind of cool, hanging out. And he was just like, well, hey, let me give you a tour of my house. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not 20, but I appreciate it. He was like, no. I just, you know, you seem cool. We'll just chit chat. He had great game. I appreciate a dude that has good game. You know, so when you talk about game, it's always game. It's always game. It's just whose game do you want to play, like, when it comes down to it. But he, of course, wants to show me the master bedroom. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and call this Uber. Oh, look, the Uber's already here. I'm out. I appreciate it. And he's like, oh, can I call you? You know, your brother did bring me over here, right? Like, I don't know where he went, but, you know, your brother.
Who cares?
Right. So I was like, I'll tell you what. If you hear me say my number as I'm running down the stairs, then cool. And I literally said it super low, super fast, literally like running down the stairs, around and out the door.
And I bet he remembered it.
And this was the difference. So the next day, his brother texted me, and he called me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know like how some people feel, but I prefer a call over a text. So like I said, his brother had texted me.
Now you're showing your age when you say
that. His brother had texted me, and he actually had picked up the phone and called. And so like, and of course like moving forward, I'm not gonna take you through all the bullshit. But like, he had told me, he was like, I knew who you were. It took me a second, but then I realized like who you were, like, and it was cool because I felt like during that dating period, I liked how he pursued me. And I will say that there's a difference in like dating those guys like as a sex worker. I feel like no matter if you're a dominatrix, an escort, a massage girl, or anything else like that, I think that there's like it feels like there's a particular etiquette that they have a better understanding of. If that made you get what I'm saying. Like,
I didn't think about it like that, but that's the reason why I wanted to kind of delve in, is because I've heard, there are a lot of sex workers in my digital community. Shout out to the Ringside digital community. If you're out there, if you're on Facebook, make sure you type in Ringside LLC in the search bar. Make sure you request to join the private group, and either myself or one of the admins will admit you. There are several sex workers in the group, and they talk about the things that they encounter, being a sex worker, but still wanting to date, wanting to find love. And many have talked about the difficulties. I mean, sex work or not, people have difficulties, whatever.
Right.
But then you have the cases where people will say, well, because of my job or what I do, men don't take me seriously, or men objectify me, or men, disqualify me from being potential girlfriend or wife. These are things that, you'll hear women say, like, it's not enough. A man can be attracted to you sexually, but does he want to, commit, or does he want to give the girlfriend treatment? And sometimes you hear people say, well, because of the stigma surrounding being a sex worker, oftentimes, I get that. And have you ever had that happen, or do you see that being prevalent?
Yeah. Oh, man. Actually, I have a really great example. Hopefully, y'all be able to pick up what I'm fixing to put down. Okay. As a better, instead of trying to and then we'll kind of dissect it from there. Mm-hmm. So just like literally the other day, I'm about to move, and in the midst of everything, so apparently one of my neighbors has come forward and said he's got a crush on me.
Oh. Okay. Never mind.
So I'm cool, because I'm like, you know what? Just like, I'm the type of person, if I see a penny on the street, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to give it a chance. All right, what's up? Come with me and let me know what this game is. This is what I talk about, game. So, and then also I mentioned to him about being, I can tell he's young. He ain't used to dealing with grown women, especially where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things of where, so the other dudes, like, working in the club, like I said, like, the first dude that pursued me in the strip club, he put into the game. Every time he came to see me, I'd always get at least $250, $300 from him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? I'm not gonna lie. Some of the dudes that, working in that industry, they definitely set the standard higher for, I guess, the other dudes that aren't familiar with me being in that industry. So the dude that wanted to come at me, he was like, he was like, why are you moving? I said, Atlanta's just way too inflated for me. I really can't afford it. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to, do some other things. I really just can't afford to be here. Mm-hmm. So his response was, just stay. I'll take care of you.
All right.
And I had to be honest. I mean, like, I appreciate it. I'm not saying that he couldn't. But I also had to point out is that I have a certain lifestyle that I want to live and that I want to maintain. And I don't see you being able to really do that. Not that you won't be able to, but right now I don't see you being able to. And that's going to cause me to have a whole attitude and probably be petty often. Because, I drive an Audi. And even if it's not brand new, the bitches is still expensive. Mm-hmm. And so, but I'm like, I'm going to keep kind of talking to him, throwing it out there. So, like I said, because I'd been, kind of spoiled. I'm used to having those dudes like take care of. I'm used to having a provider. Those dudes that have wanted me, in the industry that have known that have known me from the industry, understand that there is a particular level. Like if you want me to come out or have this certain look, cost.
So
I think the best breakdown. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I got a question.
Okay, I know you do, but I gotta make you laugh real quick.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, like, all the other dudes, like, they spent money, they spent guap, they've made sure we've gone on trips, they've paid for this, or got me this, or we've done that. Always made sure I was taken care of. So I was like, okay, you throwing out here that you want me to, I should give up and just stay here with you. And I said, okay, well, I need some duct tape. I need some tape for these boxes. You here. I know you got some tape. Can you get me some tape? That's all I asked for. Some duct tape for the boxes. Right?
I feel like there's a double entendre coming, or...
I mean, you talk about you want to take care of me, but you can't even bring over me some tape?
Oh, good Lord, tape is expensive.
Tape is $4. How do I know? Because I had to go to Walmart and get my own damn tape last night. And then he looks at me funny because I'm just like, I'll speak. So the queen does. She's always cordial, even when she's irritated. I speak. But he's like, well, you ain't trying to talk to him? No. Why would I talk to you? That doesn't make any sense. And now he's over there looking at me like I'm the bitch. Right? Because... I think, too, that working and for a lot of females, I think that some of the sex workers, it's like, loves, don't forget, y'all got power in what you do. People are coming to you professionally for it. Don't forget to involve it in your own personal life. And I think that a lot of people have trouble with that. Because I'm going to hold, like, whether I met the dude through the industry or not in the industry, I'm going to hold you to that same standard. Because if we're talking about swapping body fluid... we need to, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter how we met. So, but okay. I had my little rant. What's your question?
So the question I was going to ask, it's like, what did T.I. say, it ain't tricking if you got it?
Yeah.
Would you say that part of, I guess, the etiquette involves a certain level of quote unquote tricking, or, you're going to hear people say they're going to use those terms interchangeably, providership. Then other people say, well, it's tricking, or other people say, no, you're taking care of. You take care of something that you love. So would you say that part of the lifestyle involves, look, if you want to deal with a sex worker, if you're going to deal with, someone of your caliber, it involves, kind of that investment. It involves like keeping someone happy, and that comes with finances. Would you say that's kind of across the board, or that's kind of, like you said, is that just that unspoken etiquette that comes with dating a sex worker?
Honestly, like, coming from my background, if my grandmother were right here, who is gonna be 88, right. Like, if she said, it's not, I don't really think that it's just about dating a sex worker. I just think it's in general. Like, if somebody's gonna come at you, like, because the way that I was taught, like, the whole partnership, marriage, that sort of thing is, as my grandmother used to say, is like, she would tell the boys, it's all about what you can bring to the table. But she would also look over at us girls and be like, well, if a man's going to bring something to your table, what kind of table do you have? Is your table stable enough? Do you have enough foundation for all that he's bringing to you? Are you bringing, a dinette set, or are you bringing a folding table from Walmart?
Oh.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, if that's what you want, if that's where you are,
some great stuff at Walmart.
Right. And I'm not going to lie. I went to Walmart and got some tape.
There you go.
But I don't want to buy a folding chair from Walmart. I want to buy a nice dinette chair.
You gotta go to.
Do you know what I'm saying? At least Haverty's, American
like
Signature.
Ashley Furniture.
If not, get something custom, something. And I'm okay with, even too, I think it's just a matter of, providing. Because, I mean, this is kind of something, it's something that I do. And just like a doctor or a lawyer or a banker or anything else like that, when I get home, I want to be home. But it's a matter of, like, what kind of home I want to come home to. What kind of home do you want to come home to? What do we want to do when we both not working? Because I don't work this job 24/7. So I think that with a lot of that, comes that stereotype is like I'm always working. No.
Mm.
No. I'm not always working and I'm not always like out. I'm a flirt. I'm dominant because I'm just a natural dominant in my own natural life, like having to deal with and in some of the situations that people just flip out on. And it's like, just be calm.
Mm-hmm.
But like that doesn't mean that I'm out working.
Mm-hmm.
It turns off. I love what I do. I want to turn it off though. I don't want to do it all the time.
Really quickly, because I saw some. I watch Vice sometimes during the day while I'm at work, and I know it's been a few. I don't know if Amber Rose does the slut walk every year or something like that. But I know I was watching a episode called "Hate Thy Neighbor" or something like that. And it was talking about the difference between feminists and anti-feminists and sex workers and ultra Christians and getting everyone's perspective. But it featured Amber Rose and it talked about the slut walk and empowering women, all women, sex workers, non-sex workers, so on and so forth. But a big chunk of it was to destigmatize, sex workers, letting people know, look, sex work is work. It's still work. Have you seen or experienced any positive changes in terms of how people view sex workers since the slut walk, or you feel like, it was all pomp and frills, didn't really make a difference?
I feel like it hyped everything up to where now everybody wants to be a sugar baby or get paid for sex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not against it. I don't want to be called a slut, but I mean, I'm comfortable in who I am, and I don't feel like I need to have a label. If you want to call me, then cool. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going home regardless. I'm driving away regardless. But I just feel like the industry, and with a lot of that, like I said, with a lot of that confusion when it comes to the dating and stuff, well, it's like, well, embrace your power, whatever it is, with whatever you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because a chick can just be a cashier, at the bank and just be bad as hell and know how to run her shit, know how she wants to go, who she wants to be, who she is, and keep moving. Versus there could be, just because somebody's a sex worker doesn't mean that they have that confidence to go out there and pull this dude or that dude.
Right.
Because like I even know, like, I don't even my own personal experience, some of the times I look at some of these dudes like, wait, you want to come see me? You do not look like my type. I feel like I would not be your type. But I mean, it is what it is. And they kept coming because I'm cool in my confidence.
Okay.
So I think that that's just a big part of it. Whether you want to walk on the slut walk or wear coveralls. Because I ain't going to lie. Like, I had a girl last summer tell me that I didn't dress, like, show enough skin. And I'm like, baby, my days at the strip club is over.
Like,
I heard that. I'm not trying to just be showing skin to show skin, especially if the nigga ain't buying a drink. I just wanted some water. I didn't ask for a shot.
It was hot in there.
Right. You couldn't even afford me you didn't even have to afford me a bottle of water. I just want some water. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it really just goes back to just the confidence level.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's a great point, because I know I've heard perspectives from men and women regarding the slut walk, or being referred to as a slut or a hoe or a whore, and some people feel that it's empowering or reclaiming that word, whereas others feel like no, it's a step backwards and it's falling into misogyny, so on and so forth.
I feel like it's kind of in the same category as nigga,
mm-hmm.
nigger. Anything else like that.
Someone made the same comparison.
Right. It's the same comparison. It's all about how you feel about it. And I really feel like it was, to me, I feel like it was just more so the type of thing where getting the attention on being comfortable with yourself. Because, I mean, I can go out. Like, I went out normally, I had to run out of my house. And, because when I'm in my house, I like being in my little Sailor Moon t-shirt that's stretched out the boobs and my little short shorts. But when I walk outside, I don't like to be like that. I had an emergency. I had to run outside. And it just so happened all the dudes in the neighborhood just so happened to be out. And they all know me for wearing sweatpants. Even in the summertime, I have a whole sweatsuit when I come out. And they were like, Is everything okay? What's wrong? Why are you out here? Like, why are you showing all that leg? I mean, it was kind of cool. I know. I'm not gonna lie. I know I got a body. It threw him off a little bit. But at the same token, I still didn't let it faze me. You know, I needed to do what I needed to do. Thank you for your compliment. As long as you don't touch me, I'm good. I don't really care. You know, but yeah, like words like whore and slut, like I love my hoe friends. I love my hoe friends. I guess when I think in terms of hoe, I think HEAUX hoe, not HOE, the garden tool as my grandmother would call it. I don't think of them so much as whores. That's such a harsh word. Even when you roll that R, that's just harsh.
That's a part like whore.
Whore. Like, what you got in your throat? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think that, I think that it's just super important that people just feel comfortable and confident. Because I think as a sex worker, it's important that, you know, especially if you want to run it, if you run it as your business, as your job, as your career, run it as such. Take some time off. Make sure that whomever you're spending that time with, you spending that time with them as yourself. Because if that's going to be your partner, that needs to be your partner, and you need to be in it as yourself. Now, if they're cool with taking your pictures or helping you out with your business, awesome. But to remember to take a step back from that, because I'm not always on. I want to just curl up with my dog, blanket, sometimes man, Netflix, you know.
Netflix can always be
right. Like, I don't always want to be, or I want to go camping. I like camping.
Camping?
Right. I'm a country girl.
Okay. That threw me for, hey, nothing wrong with that. Hey, do you think?
Right. But, like, the persona that I put on. So, why do I want to go out if I'm going camping? Why do I want to feel like, I don't want somebody to feel like I'm over here trying to, like, pimp out this dude and trick off with this dude. So, like, actually, to go back to what you said about TIs, it ain't tricking if you got, nah, it's not. Because let's be real, the whole point of you getting your money is to get the things that you want, right? So, and I mean, I guess that's my experience. Like when dudes have been like, I remember one dude was like, "What you doing today?" And I was like, "I have to go to work." This was when I worked back in the day at Old Charlie's. This was in like my early 20s.
Oh, Charlie's had some great rolls and
yes, it was the rolls. It was them rolls. It was them rolls with that honey butter, like.
Let's keep on, because now I'm hungry, because I wasn't thinking about those rolls until I just said it.
Right, now you're gonna have to go and get some.
Oh gosh.
But nah, like I remember this dude. He was like, "Why don't you come out and hang with me?" And I was like, "Nah, I gotta go to work." And he was like, "Well." It basically was like, nah, I gotta go and get my money. And it was like, well, how much? And I didn't have to say that because he was up on the game. I didn't have to say I'm trying to go get my money. And it was a little bit of money. He said, well, how much you make? This Old Charlie's, like over by like North Lake Mall back in the day. I only made, on a great day, it was like $150 at lunch.
Boom.
So I lied to him and I was like $500.
If he bought that, then...
Dude knew I didn't make $500. He knew. But you know what he said? He said, how about this? Why don't you call into work and I'll give it to you? And he gave it to me. And we went shopping.
I'm like, $500? I want to know what Old Charlie's is that. I'm like, can't be over there.
But I mean, so once again, when it comes back to, it's all about playing the games. Whose game do you want to play? Right. He knew I wasn't making $500 at Old Charlie's.
I'm like, is there an Old Charlie's?
But he wanted, right. No, this was by North Lake Mall. But it was one of those things where it's like, this is what I want. If you really want me, I make $500. Oh, well, if I give it to you, will you call in sick? Yep.
So basically, you set the price and they either can pay or not.
And it wasn't even a trick off sort of situation. I was working at Old Charlie's. Like, he didn't know anything about what I did. Hey, you want to hang out today? Now I got to go to work.
Well, I'm definitely feeling, I think that's a great way to cap off this interview. Big shout out to Old Charlie's out there. If you're near one night, go ahead and pick up some chicken tenders and some rolls.
Rolls.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they got other food too, but that's what I remember.
Right, the rolls.
And the French fries. I remember the French fries being good. Before we, exit out of here, any social media you want to give, if anybody out there wants to, play the game and really demonstrate the etiquette, how can they get in touch with you? Are you on social media? Do you have a website? How can they find you?
Yes. So the website is thecockykitty.com. You can always follow me on Instagram at thecockykitty, or you can find me on Twitter as bondasagekitty. So, and that's how you can reach out to me. I love to play these little games.
All right, everybody. Well, if your game is on, you know what to do, everybody. Thank you, Cocky Kitty. Thank you for gracing this interview once again, everybody. This is Ringside Corner Confessions. And again, make sure you hit that bell, get all the notifications, drop a few comments down below, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe. And on that note, we out. We about to make a run to Charlie's.
Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.